Alright, let's have a look at this conifer. It's fairly large and hasn't been pruned, so the branches go all the way to the ground, which isn't always typical. Usually street trees and trees in parks have their branches pruned off the ground. So first thing we notice when we come up to it is that it has needles in bunches of 2. So, oh, it's a little shady here. Alright, that's a little better. So yeah, you can see needles are in bunches of 2, and the needles themselves are incredibly long. Longer than pretty much any other conifer I can think of. So, we know right away from it having needles in bunches that it's a pine tree of some kind. And as I mentioned already, the length of these ones is a good indicator of the species. We also have quite rough bark, as we can see as we go up here. Quite rough, quite cragged bark, especially since the tree is not that old yet. And if we look a little closer on some of these, here we can see the old pollen cones from last year. So most conifers will produce a separate male and female cone. So these are the old male cones, the pollen cones from last year. And in a few weeks, these new growths here will produce a whole bunch more. And you might have seen pine trees when they release pollen. If you even just hit the branch, it's there's pollen everywhere. Under this branch, we've got a fresh cone, one that hasn't opened yet. You can see it has little spikes kind of on them, but they're not as spiky as some other conifers. And let's see, can I see any old cones anywhere? Here we go. Here's a couple old cones that have opened up. There's a better view of it. So let's see if I can just pluck that one off. So kind of a classic open pine cone shape, fairly large in size. And like I said, not as spiky as some of them. Not much of a base on this one, just a little teeny kind of stalk. So, like I said, probably the easiest way to identify this tree is the length of the needles. So what we're looking at is an Austrian pine, also known as a black pine, Pinus nigra.